right, and obviously
consider the inconsistency in team selection still.
Can I just say, not only that, my name's Jake, not Jane, has got a school. Actually, Jake.
You could pass for a Jane.
Actually, I haven't.
You could pass for a Jane.
Oh, no.
Remember, we're all doing that in front of him. We're all buying. And he was out.
Good evening. We've had time to digest that victory today. 1-0 West Ham versus Everton at Goodison Park. Absolutely buzzing. Matt, you've had time to digest it. How are you feeling, mate?
I thought it was a well-deserved game. I think it was a well-deserved win.
Yeah.
Looking back on it.
Mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A solid away performance.
Solid away, professional performance from a professional manager who knows what he's talking about, knows the score, and judged by a group of guys called Anton and Matt who don't know anything about football. It's the best way to explain it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's two guys that know absolutely nothing about football telling people what they're doing wrong when they play.
So listen, there's quite a few people in the chat. We'll go through the chat as well. But what we're going to ask you to do is there's the poll. So go onto the poll, click what you think that the players are worthy of getting for their ratings out of 10. And we'll start to talk about them as well. So I think it's probably time for us to go straight into it, isn't it, mate? And rate.
Stuck in.
Let's get straight stuck in, mate. And let's go and rate Fabianski.
So I've given him a 7.
Right, okay.
I thought he did what was asked. He wasn't asked to do that much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember him having to make a decent save. He had a couple of long shots straight at him. Defence covered him pretty well. He did have that iffy moment in the second half, didn't he, with that cross when he wasn't sure whether to catch it or punch it.
Yeah.
His distribution actually seemed a lot better today. There was one counter-attack in the first half when he released the ball quite well, and then Antonio blazed it over the bar when he could have put Bowen in, but that come from a quick release from Fabianski. So giving Moyes the right, showing why he kept the faith in him, but yeah, he had a decent game for what he had to do.
Can we, I know you and Jake usually do the rating show. Can we set a new standard? And the standard is, I know you say you normally start with a 6, but for me that's a bit odd because nobody's played. So I think you need to start on an equal ground, which is 5.
Well, this is what I said. I said it was a 5, and then Jake was like, "No, I started at a 6."
Yeah, I think we've got to start with a 5, and then players can work up or down the way depending on the goal. I think that works, man. That makes a little bit more sense because then you're tempted to give a player maybe a higher mark than what they do deserve normally. I'm not too sure. So you've given him a 7. Fabianski gets a 7. Let's go and see the chat and see what everyone else is saying. Father Snowman says, can't believe Jake said Johnson had a poor game. Where did he say that, Father Snowman? Cyber Leader Dalek is saying 8 for Fabianski. Gaz has given Fabianski a 7. Pete Chapman, you're giving him a 7. Neil T is giving him a 7. Liam DA is giving him a 6, being average. Fabianski is a 6. He didn't do anything wrong, and he didn't need to make any saves. We have 3 points again. Another happy day. Absolutely Crazy Cole's giving it a 7. Hammer Molder 7. Double Thinks 6. Still pamming. Freshfielder 7. Did nothing wrong. No real gaffes. James Bong, Fab's clean sheet 7.5. Jimmy James is 7. Another clean sheet. Troj is 7. Alan Turkington 8 clean sheet. Better distribution and bounce back from mediocre performances. What do you think on the distribution, mate?
I think it was better. Like I said, I think he's a lot better out of his hands today. He was actually releasing the ball quite quickly, letting us counter-attack roll, because a lot of times he will hold the ball up and, stuff right there, and then everyone gets reset. I said there was a couple of kicks today that went actually quite far. I was quite surprised. he kicked one clearance, and I was like, that's the longest he's kicked the ball in about 2 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's something to do with not having to travel. Maybe he's not as worried now because of Areola. He knows that if he does go down, he's not as like I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but before when it was Roberto, even Randolph to an extent, Fabianski's thinking, if I get injured here, we got what is essentially a backup goalkeeper coming in to cover for me. Whereas now, if he knows if he does kick it too hard, and he does get injured, he's still got another number one coming to cover him. So he's not.
Well, the thing is, Matt, though, like we now have a goalkeeper that currently is cemented his number one spot, and it's going to take whether an injury or an absolute calamitous game for him to be removed from the sticks. So, when it comes to the Tottenham preview after the Genk game, I think we're going to have to just sit there and stop trying to say that Areola's coming in. I know it's what we want to see sometimes, but I think
Europe game though. Europe game though.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, in the poll, 50% of people agree with you on number 7, giving Fabianski a 7. Alan Turkington has given him an 8. Clean sheet, better distribution, bounce back from mediocre performance. WHU 58 is saying Fab gets a 7, and Jake said it on Nicky with West Ham Fan TV. So it is time to move on to our next player and rate Aaron Creswell, who was captain today. No, he wasn't captain today. Where did I get that from? Deckers was captain. Ignore me. Creswell.
Yeah.
Running, mate.
There's going to be a few of these come out today because that's what game it was, but I gave him a 7.
Right. Okay.
I thought he dealt actually pretty well with Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't get skinned too often. I think Tomorrow Gay got past him maybe once or twice. He kept Seamus Coleman didn't get many chances to overlap. He sort of dealt with him quite well. Deliveries could have been a bit better, maybe.
Well,
but
I mean,
defensively, he done his job. So
clean sheet as well.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think when do you think players in defence deserve a higher mark for walking away with a clean sheet, especially away at home to Everton? Because sometimes
I'm not the whole defence ain't getting 7, so I'm just gonna say that. But I think for the modern game, unfortunately, the way the modern game is, a fullback who's just defensive is probably looked down upon more when they don't have that attacking, because so much of the modern game now is relying on fullbacks having that attacking output alongside the defensive output. Now, Creswell's not expected to bomb forward and overlap because he hasn't got the legs, but what I would expect from him is better deliveries than he had. Like, we saw it last season. The reason why we scored so many set pieces last season and so many crosses was because Soufal and Creswell were brilliant. I think they were they both in like the top 5 for crosses or something last season.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's found his range yet this season. He seems to be, like as he goes to kick it, you might as well flip a coin. Heads, it's going to go in. Tails, it's going to go like sailing out the far side.
But the thing is, though, he's not. I would say Creswell is quite possibly being our most consistent defender. Could you say this year?
Yeah.
Because he's played like most of the games.
Moyes has found a way of making him work again. I think under Bilic and Pellegrini, we used to say, "Oh, he's got no pace. He's going to get caught out," because they put a lot of emphasis on getting the fullbacks forward. Where I think Moyes has maybe identified the fact that Creswell can get up and down.
Yeah.
But don't expect him to bomb on the overlap every single time, and actually sitting deeper and swinging crosses in. He's actually generally more effective for him. With the big guys we've got, and like Declan Rice or Suchek making them late runs, him whipping in crosses from 35 yards is actually probably more beneficial to him than getting down to the byline and whipping them in. I just think he's defensively, he's been solid probably for, I wouldn't even say this year, mate. I'd probably say 18 months.
Right,
He's defensively very, very good. It's just today his crosses were a bit off. So
cool. Let's jump into the chat and see what everyone's having to say about Creswell. Alan Turkington saying Chris gets a 7, defended well, put himself about forward well. Gaza says he gets an 8. Pete Chapman gives him a 6. Chris gets a Len Goodman 7. Hammer Mulder 7 just. Liam DA 7.5. Neil T, yeah, Cressy gets a 6. James Bond gives him a clean sheet, 7.5. Troj says solid, really gives away possession. WHU 58, Creswell's a 7. Troj is a 7 for him as well. Jimmy James, 7, played well, kept possession, links up playing to midfield and down the flanks. Troj is saying, no way Creswell started the season poor. Now Creswell seems back to normal but lacking delivery. Kimbo says Creswell has been outstanding for us in the last 18 months and has saved us a fortune. Massive valid point there. Vinay is saying 7 for Creswell. He did enough. So there you go. Matt's giving him a 7. And in the chat, 48% of people agree with you, mate, by giving him a 7 as well. Next up is 27% with an 8. So it's time to move on to new signing of the summer, Kurt Happy Zuma.
See, now I said to you, the whole defence isn't getting 7, so they're not. Zuma, probably, I think, behind Deck was like our second best player in the game today. I thought he had he's had a couple of iffy performances recently, but I thought he was brilliant again today.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you.
I'm actually sitting here trying to decide at the moment whether I'm giving him an 8 or a 9. Like, he was brilliant. You know what? We won. I'll give him a 9.
Give him a 9. Right.
He had a clean sheet. He won his headers. If he couldn't win the header, he made sure that Rondon didn't get a free header on goal. He had that good clearance acrobatically when they tried to clip one over him. He was throwing his body on the line left, right and centre. He seemed more composed today. He didn't seem as pressured on the ball. He's bringing the ball forward at times. He's passing. He's had a couple of few games, but I thought he was back to his very best today.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have a solid, like an outstanding defence away at Everton. It's not an easy place to go. They were unbeaten at home this season, hadn't lost until today.
Yeah.
And I thought he really highlighted how well the defence played.
Right, okay, yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I think Zuma did play well. I think his goal certainly he never got a goal, sorry, but his performance, like coming off the back of not a fantastic performance against Brentford, has definitely helped out. A clean sheet again, and I think he was pivotal. One of the players back there that was pivotal to us being solid back there as well. So let's go and see what everyone else in the comments is saying. Father Snowman is saying he gets an 8. Neil T is giving him an 8. Alan Turkington's giving him a 7, a solid one. Dealt okay with Rondon, clean sheet. Gaza gives him an 8. Pete Chapman gives him a 7. Troz says 8, almost as good as God Bona. WHU 58, Zuma 7.5. Crosshammer gets an 8. James Bong, Zuma clean sheet 7.5. Freshfielder, Zuma 8, proper solid. He's going to be hammer of the year, isn't he? I can see it. Kimbo, Zuma is an 8 all day long. You're all talking to each other. Azizi, top was outstanding. Stopped 2 goals. Easy 9. Vinny, Zuma 8. Everton did not present that much of a threat. He was solid. Les McDonald, Zuma gets a 9. Alan says Ogbonna looks solid with Zuma. Got the winning goal. And 7, solid performance and less erratic. So in the chat, 61% of people have gone with an 8. 22% of people have gone with a 7. And 12% have gone with a 9. Now, away from home, and this is why I was trying to say to you, you've gone Creswell 7, and I think there were 2 different players there, 2 different performances, really, to be honest. One was a bit lackluster, never really had a lot to do, so probably generated a 7, in my opinion, in Creswell. But Zuma was definitely up there. I would have probably given him 8 or a 9, but hey-ho, it's literally...
Well, that's what I was sitting on, but I was like, what? We won, we
yeah.
had the clean sheet.
Yeah, give him that. Give him the 9. I'll accept that, mate. I'll accept that. Good man. Excellent. Right, time to move on. Let's go and rate the man, the goal scorer, God Bona.
I've just sat there and bigged up Zuma, and I think I've just given him so much praise that I've just now upped Ogbona's rating. I had him written down as an 8, but I can't think I have to give him a 9 as well. Because the pair of them together were brilliant. And look, I sat there and said Ogbona's been off form, he's been slow, he's made mistakes, he needs to be dropped. That's why I'm sitting behind the screen and Moyes is getting paid millions of pounds to manage a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Because their partnership had clicked again today. Maybe Ogbonna just needed a rest. Maybe that's what it was. He's getting a bit on a bit, maybe needed a bit leggy. But as much as Zuma, same again, he was putting in tackles, putting in box, throwing himself, throwing his body on the line, winning the headers. They controlled the line well between them. Rarely, I think he got turned once by Gray, but in all fairness, a sprint between the two of them is always going to end up with Gray winning. Ogbonna's not going to win that. And of course, he got the goal. So I was going to give Ogbonna an 8, but I was like, how can I sit there and give Ogbonna an 8 and Zuma a 9 when Ogbonna had the clean sheet as well and scored? So I still think Zuma played better, but I think adding all the factors in together, I'll give him some rating. I'll give him a 9 as well.
I think when it comes to Ogbonna, again, being his harshest critic over the years, and I think in the first half he did struggle a couple of times. Like you said, he was getting ran ragged a little bit, but he did up his game big style, and he did perform well. And I think him and Zuma needed that performance, especially after the Brentford game. And again, like you said, he chipped in with a goal. However, I'm going to come back to Creswell again, because I feel like the more I think about his corner and his side, Townsend was attacking that side a lot. Yeah, he was getting balls in, but I felt like Cressy done enough to kind of, eradicate the real threat down that wing. So I'm just wondering, with Ogbonna being a 9 and Cressy being a 7, am I pushing you here? Am I negotiating? Am I going to even remotely get there?
Nah. Not.
Right, cool. Ogbonna
it's the way the modern game is played and the roles they have to play. Centre backs are now all action. They expected to do everything, including passing.
Yeah.
And as much as the fullbacks are now expected to contribute going forward as well as going back, that's why the big teams pay the big money for guys like a Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
A Davies at Bayern Munich. They got pace, they get up and down, they score goals and assist as well as defending. And Creswell's delivery wasn't quite there today.
Oh, excellent. Okay, let's get into the chat and see. West Ham Random. Peachy Boy's in the house. He gives God Bonner an 8. Liam's digging you out, mate. You're giving Zuma a 9. Ogbonna scored and he's not going to be a 10. Let me see where we are. Peter Jones is giving him a 7. Crosshammer's giving him a 9. WHU 58. Ogbonna 8. Kept talking to the defence and scored a goal. Father Snowman, Oggy 8.5, gave an 8. Troj 9 would have got a 10, but Gray did him one time. Now T's saying Oggy back and 8 for me. Kimbo saying Ogbonna is God, 9. Les is saying Oggy 9 with the goal. James Bong says Oggy clean sheet plus the winner, 8.5. Gaza gives him an 8. Crazy Call gives him a 9. Fresh fielder Oggy 8. He's now had his run of games and he's back up to speed. That's a good way of putting it, yeah. Fresh fielder. Jimmy James 8, back to his best today. Partnership with Zuma is a very encouraging, great goal. Liam D8, Oggy 8, House Zuma is a 9. He's digging you out, Liam. He's digging you out, mate. Troj Ogbonna is a monster. He wins back possession almost every time. Peter Jones is giving him a 7. Troj is saying reading of the game, aggression, superb. Freshfield is saying great to see Zuma and Oggy hugging it out at the end. Absolutely. So there you go, mate. And in the chat, let's see what everyone is saying in the poll. Where is the poll? So far back. 68% of people have given him an 8. 22% of people have given him a 9. So there you go, mate. There you go. Right, it's time to move on to Young Hammer of the Year, and it's Ben Johnson.
I was very, very impressed with him today.
Yeah, I was as well.
First real proper chance we've seen him playing in the first 11 as a right back. And I don't think he put a foot wrong. I'd give him an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, I thought he played really, really well. I know I said in the match day live that I was like, he's probably my man of the match, but that was like almost sentimental. But I thought he was up and down. He covered well. He looked composed. And I suppose the biggest compliment you give him is that, he looked like he belonged in that first 11.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a 21-year-old kid who hasn't got much game time at right back, starting away at what's normally a difficult place to go in Everton.
Yeah. Oh, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool.
Yeah.
And normally, like you said, playing in the left back position, normally in his natural position is right back. But I felt like you said he got forward a lot. He laid off the ball really well. He passed. I think a couple of short passes weren't great initially in the first half, but I think that was a mixture of him going through the gears, to be honest. I think he nullified any threat coming down that side, and he really caused a bit of a nuisance going forward as well. Some of his balls near the end of the game were fantastic going over the top. So for me, he was absolutely fantastic today. So deserved of an 8, and it just shows us that we've got strength and depth in that position, mate. Absolutely. Let's jump into the chat, see what everyone else is saying. Chapman is saying Johnson gets an 8. Alan Tuckington, Johnson 6, tried hard, but most crosses were poor, linked up well in the short passes. It's funny, Alan. It's funny because I've noticed quite a few people are wide of there's kind of 50% of the fan base are rating him after today's game, and 50% of the fan base aren't. I'm really noticing that a lot today, but I was definitely in the camp of rating him because I seen him put a couple of passes wrong, but he was more active and more progressive and more forward thinking, but also had the ability to come back and defend. WHU 58, Johnson 8 did well in the last defender when our centre halves went forward for corners. Gaza gets him an 8. Neil T says an 8 all day. Trush says, to be honest, I would give Johnson 6 first half, 7 second half. He improved. He often seems to do confidence thing only. Crosshammer says 7 for me. He was okay. Hostig, Dre, Stelchenko. Hostage. Oh, it's something to do with hostage and Stel. 8 or Johnson. He did well. Need to work on his passing. James Bong. Ben Johnson clean sheet and a great performance. 8.5. Peachy Boy saying Ben Johnson a 9. What are you saying, Liam? Johnny, very good game. 8.5. Fierce fielder has given him an 8. One wasted ball straight to Pickford when he should have retained possession. One of his games for us. Vinay is saying 8 for Johnson. Did what he needed. Kimbo is saying Johnson played his own position at last. Didn't put a foot wrong. 8.5. What an outstanding prospect. Les McDonald, Johnson 8.5. Quiet down that side from Everton. Absolutely. Neil T. Sufal will struggle to get back in the side if Johnson carries on like this. Been really impressed with Johnson playing on the left and on the right now, obviously. Even all hope, we are all well, and Happy Hammers tonight still undefeated away from home from 6 months. Absolutely.
Best away record in the league, mate.
Yeah. Gaza done the simple things all well. Jimmy James, 7, solid performance from me. I won't put that one in. Or maybe I will just give you that one. There you go.
I've seen the videos, yeah.
Johnson 7, Hammerhead. Johnson
have you
8.
seen the videos on Twitter?
No.
Because where the away fans are is where the tunnel is to walk off. So they all start singing it, and Owen started walking past them to walk down the tunnel.
Love it. Ben Johnson gets a 9. Jay Woods is saying, I was really impressed with Johnson. He showed heart. Absolutely. So it's time to move on into our midfield, and we'll start with the midfield warrior, Czech warrior, Tommy Souček.
I thought he was going to say Scarface.
Man, have you seen that? It's mad.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. Brutal.
I've given him an 8.
An 8.
I thought this was his best game in probably about maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably his best game of the season, in fairness. Credit some of that to Moyes, who clearly must at some point have sat down with Rice and Souček and was like, look, Deck, I know you want to get forward more, but we need Souček to get forward more. And Rice sitting more. Rice still picked up times to run, but letting Souček just do what he does, which is run up and down the pitch all day. You know, he still looked like he wanted to stay on when he came off. You know, and he's still smiling. Picture him coming back up at full time on the pitch with the gash down his face.
Man,
he's still got a big smile on.
Yeah,
and he sent out a tweet saying, "I'm still alive." You know, he had a good game. His passing seemed better. He seemed more happy. He made runs into the box. Obviously, he got the goal that was right offside, but it was good to see him that high up the pitch again. Getting in the box more as well. It was his best performance for a while. I think a solid 8.
Good.
It's fair.
It was good to see him back to what we know he can do. I mean, the funny thing is, we've done a video in the week about Declan Rice and Tommy Souček, and you know Tommy Souček's still
watching,
topping.
Mate.
What?
Moyes must be watching, mate.
But Tommy Souček is still topping all the charts, even whilst playing in a more defensive role. But he really does suit the going forward position, and Declan Rice really does suit the kind of sitting back and them interchanging, but just not one player
Doing
doing what was going on before, which is not a bad thing. If they can both do it and they can both make it work, then so be it. But yeah, really good to see Tommy Souček back, and that cut on his face. I mean, I was really disappointed in the ref today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the cut's just it's brutal on his face, absolutely brutal. Let's jump into the chat though and see what everyone is having to say. Something someone's picked me up on it. We were doing Johnson, and 40% of the poll gave Johnson an 8. So there you go. Now we're on to Souček, so I'm going to jump into the chat and see what everyone's saying. Gaza's given him an 8. Crosshammer's given him an 8. Harry Wilkins is giving him an 8, back to his usual rhythm today. Tony Madana George 8. Souček back to last season's level, passing much improved, unlucky not to score. Jay Wood, Souček gets an 8. But in a shift today, his breaking up play was so well. Souček gets an 8. What is this one? Hammerheads in that building. Rah, 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 rah. Alan Turkington, Souček 8, best performance this season, gave it all, got involved and got forward. Fresh fielder. Souček 8, great tackle and run with his face. That was a red. Watch it again. I need to watch it again because I've started to see a lot of people. Again. Is it intentional?
There's one angle I've seen, and it's quite, I don't know where they get it from, but it's quite low on the pitch, like zoomed in. And the angle I've seen is that Rondon actually goes to place his foot forwards and then stops and then plants his foot backwards.
But does Rondon know Souček's there?
So it looks like he's looked before he's moved his leg the first time, right? Like he's tackled and looked, but then he's gone forward, and then it's like he's mentally remembered that he's on the floor, and then he puts his foot backwards. I'm still not sure, but the angle of that I saw didn't make it look good.
Yeah. Hostage. Stelchenko. 8 for Souček, took a bit to the face. Glad he is okay. Souček, solid 8 from Crazy Call. Gaz, I see the way he headed those studs. Tough man. Shut up a few critics. 8.5 from James Bong. He did. David Anderson, 8, playing his preferred role. Vinay saying 8 for Souček, brave player. Big up Peach. Jimmy James, 8. Great to see the real Souček back. Kimball saying Souček back to his best, 8.5, especially after renting his face out on the dance floor. Les McDonald, Souček is a solid 8. If he did not have a rotten luck, he would have done none at all. Showed some nice touch. WESTHAM Random, Peachy Boy, 9 for Scarface. WHU 58, Thomas, Scarface, Souček, 7.5. Nice one, Matt. Peter Jones, Souček, 9. Referee was an idiot. Should have stopped the game when Souček got a boot to the face. Absolutely. Really disappointed in him. Say hello to my little potato salad friend. I love that. It's a good man. The guy didn't look. You can be sure he meant it. Can't be sure he meant it. Hammerhead are all laughing at each other. He moves forward and then shoves his foot back.
Lawrence, that's the angle I've seen.
Alabama in the United States of America. Lawrence Watkins, excuse that accent, is an 8. If you looked, it's a red. David M says, thought they was going to give Souček a rest, but what a performance. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. 500,000 ransom for Stell. Ask the Newcastle owner if you want him back. You know, you can have him. Evening all for South Australia at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. And there you go. So in the chat, 50% of people agree with you and give him an 8. 36% of people give him a 7. 13% of people gave him a 9. So it's time to move on to Captain Declan Rice. And then you're taking your time there.
So, I gave him a 9.
9.
It's, you know what? It's the reason I said earlier when we did the match day live, and I said, Johnson was my man of the match because I thought the way he come in and the circumstances he played really well. But it's just he does it every game, doesn't he? Like he does it every game. I could probably sit here and say 10, and it wouldn't even probably batter an eyelid either.
Can you read the stats along the bottom there? Right, wait. I'll start them for you when you come back to the beginning. It's really tough to actually get player stats on the day of a game. So we'll get them hopefully moving forward. But Declan Rice's stats for today's game was 100% aerial duels won, 71 completed passes from 78 attempts, 13 completed final third passes from 15, 10 ball recoveries, 3 tackles won, and 2 chances created today. The man, I wish I had his running stats as well, him and Souček's running stats, but Declan Rice, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to say back to his best. It's not about that, but back to that defensive midfielder that we so desperately rate and is what's making him a world beater, world class.
Well, there's rumours. Obviously, the rumour mill loves it, but there's rumours this afternoon that Man City are looking at him to replace Fernandinho at the end of the season, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me, and he wouldn't look out of place. He could walk into Man City's team, and he would just pick it up straight away the way he plays.
Yeah.
But saying about stats, there is one player I did find stats for, not a West Ham player. It was an Everton player.
It will be,
and it is legitimately the worst stats I've ever seen in my life. I'm not joking. This is you're right. It's a Wobie. I don't know if you've seen this, right?
Yeah, I have.
So 79 minutes, 0 key passes, 0 dribbles, 0 shots on target, 0 accurate crosses, 0 duels won, 0 fouls won, 0 tackles, 0 interceptions, 0 crossing accuracy, 0 shooting accuracy, 1 big chance missed. That has got to be like the worst set of stats for a Premier League game by any player ever.
Yeah, you're right, mate. You're right. You are right. Let's jump into the chat.
There's not enough words to say about Rice, is there?
No. He's phenomenal, mate. He's absolutely phenomenal. He just does it week in, week out. He's just
it's like honestly, the normal.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like he probably should be Hammer of the Year like 4 years running.
Yeah.
But we're so used to seeing.
But people are trying to choose
every week.
People are trying to choose other players because they just don't want to choose Rice. But the thing is, if he deserves it, he deserves it. Let me jump into the chat. Lawrence Watkins is saying 9.999999999. Alan Tuckington, Deck 9 made Decore and Alan look average, and that takes some doing. And you're right, mate. You're totally right. Decore, a fantastic player. Alan's a good player.
We'll beat him up, won't we, in the preview?
Yeah, absolutely.
And nullified him completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Crosshammer 9 for the GOAT. Trosh Souček is worth 10 Pogbas. Regaza says Rice 10. Peach has given him 9 for Rice. James Bong, Rice man of the match 9. WHU58 Rice 9.5, just outstanding in everything he did. Peter Jones, Declan Rice is a 9 plus. Alex Williams, Rice was great. Him staying back allowed Souček to play his game. More of a box to box player. Neil T, Rice 9, man of the match performance. Hammerhead 7.5 for Rice. Come on. Come on.
Harsh. Jeez.
Kimbo, Rice gets a 9 from me. Liam DA, when Everton had the last corner, I was crapping myself. You can say that again, mate. David M, I would
we
like
were raging, weren't we? You were like, it's already 94 minutes.
Yeah. David M, I would like to have like the opportunity to give Rice a 10. He was all over the pitch, outstanding. Yeah, I mean, sorry, David. I mean, give him a 10. That's fine. I know I didn't put it in the option there, but I probably should have. Freshfielder, giving him an 8. Crazy call. Neil, the man that never sleeps. Easy 10. Rice bossed the midfield today from Pete Chapman. Vinay saying another day Everton could have lost 4, but a win is a win. Troj, Rice 9 drove the team on to what wants all 3 points and go for a win. Jimmy James gives him an 8, man of the match. Gaza, he was superb today, no pundit better. Not say he don't get forward enough. Crazy call, Rice, nothing under a 9. Liez McDonald, Rice is a 9, total boss of the pitch. What midfielder player is better this weekend in the EPL? I did see what Jack Wilshere actually said about Rice.
Yeah,
he was basically saying, stay at the
club. Said something nice about him for once. Yeah. He said something about West Ham for once, which is rare for him.
Harry Wilkins, Deck was an 8, improvement from Brentford, and he looked a lot more comfortable with Souček getting forward, more in the build-up attacks, and Deck's leading counter-attacks. Dark side of the forces with Owobi, 1 Kenobi. David Addison, 9.99 for Rice, absolute colossal. Reminds me of Gerrard from Liverpool, his very best. Wrong, B. Rice gets a 9.89. He gives him a 10. Jake, you're just home, mate. You're just home. Good man. If you want to come on, let me know, and I'll sort you out. Let me know if you do. Just I don't know how you do it. Is it Twitter or whatever? Put in the chat if you've done it, and I'll send you the link. Keith Stewart 9.5, super showing. Ian is saying, hi guys, had my elbow operation. I'm in sling now for 6. Hope you're okay, mate. Stay safe. Rice gets a 10. There you go, mate. Deckers, and let's see what everyone says in the chat. 61% of people agree with you, mate, and give him a 9. 31% of people gave him an 8, and 6% of people gave him a 7. So next up is the man who loves Estrella. He's going to Vienna. His name is Pablo Fornals.
See, this is where people may start falling out with me because I'm going to rattle off like we huffed and puffed a lot today, and there was some good link-up play, but we weren't finding that final ball, were we? There was a couple of times we had the right pass, and like even Deck a few times on the counter-attack played the wrong ball, and it was going to take it. Like, thankfully, we did get a set piece. It was probably going to take a set piece to win. Fornals, I've given him a 7. I thought his work rate, as always, he links up quite well with Creswell. I thought they kept, Townsend and Coleman pretty quiet down that side. But as an attacking output, even though we had most of the ball and we had a good spells of going forward, we didn't really create many clear-cut chances. And that's not just talking about Fornals, that's talking about everyone. So
Yeah.
Yeah, 7. You're always going to get the effort on him.
Yeah.
He'll always try, despite rumours that he was injured. He was quite evidently raring to go.
Matt. Oh, it's all part of the banter, mate. It's all part of the banter. And listen, for anyone that doesn't know, Matt, you're under pressure tonight because now you found out that you're getting rated after this for your own review show. So,
is what it is, mate. Is what it is.
I
haven't seen what my rating is.
Hammerhead.
I have to go back and watch him.
7 went missing at times. Alan Turkington saying Fornals 6 usual work rate, but it's not his best game. Needs to be more defensive in the final third. Fresh fielder Fornals. Well, Alan, that's fine.
I think
decisive.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just about to say that's what I felt it should have been. So I misread that. Apologies. Fornals 7 could have done better. Gaza gives him a 7. Pete Chapman gives him a 7.5. 7 for Fornals from Peach. 7 Unreal Desire Fornals. He does, and I don't think anyone can ever fault his desire, to be honest. And to be honest, I don't really know any other game that he's performed less than a 7.
He always
big statement. Yeah, he's either 7 or above.
There's a few players now where you say you'll always get a 7 out of them.
A 7 or above. That's the thing.
I mean, you'll always get a minimum of a 7.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. He'll always. I'm pretty sure last season as well, at least for us, after Souček's running stats, Fornals was the next one on the list. He covers a lot of ground. It just because Souček runs 25 kilometers a game.
Yeah.
Fornals goes under the radar a bit.
Yep, I'll say that again. BMDA 7, give the ball away too much. Up and down, Nails 7, crazy call. Lee McDonald, Fornals 7, always working. James Bong, Fornicator 7.5. Crosshammer 8, he nearly scored and did well getting back. Harry Wilkins, Fornals 7, played well in possession. Always seems to be the one to speed up in the attack. Kimball 7.5, worked hard but not always successful. Richard Connor, love Pablo but not his best game today. 7 from me. Gaza saying I'm surprised didn't put on Vlasic. We can talk about that near the end. 7 for Fornals. He did okay. Keith Stewart says he gets 8 for enthusiasm. Never say die attitude. Unlucky on a couple of tackles didn't go his way. Kimball says I rate Matt about 9.5. Always room for improvement. Just so there you go. The man who loves Estrella is going to Vienna. Pablo Fornals gets a 7, and 63% of people agree with you, Matt. So you'll be happy with that. You'll be happy with that. Next to move on to is Saeed Benrahma.
Now, you may start to notice a pattern here after what I've said, but Benny can have a 7 as well.
Right,
I thought he was probably our best attacking outlet. He tried. He was one that was trying.
Yeah, it's a good word. Yeah, I think trying.
He was the one that was finding the space, and like I said about a lot of attacking play today. Something just didn't we had really good play, fast attack, incisive, and there was all this clever in-cut play, and then it just come down to the final ball, and we just held it second too long, overhit the pass slightly, went the wrong way out of the two options, and Benny had a couple of himself where he played the right ball, and like there was one into Antonio that was like just too far over his head. There was a clever short corner into the right area, and no one, like 3 Everton players went to touch it. If one of them touches it, it probably flies past Pickford and goes in. No one managed to touch it. He was the inventive player that was trying to get things going, and it was. I said it'd probably be a frustrating game. I said it'd be an easy game. I think we had the better of it, but yeah, there was just that's one spark sort of thing that was missing. But I thought he was the one. If anyone was going to unlock him, it was either going to be a set piece or something from Ben Rama.
I think we were all doing the match day live, and we were kind of trying to dissect how his game was looking. It was like a car getting started. He started off in first gear and moved up the gear slowly. He got into about third gear and he became a bit stuck. His clutch was stuck and he couldn't really get past that 3. Every now and then, his work effort was there. He was working overdrive. He was trying to create something. He'd maybe nip up to a 4, but then he would drop back down again and wouldn't get past into fourth gear. But I thought he was okay. I think 7's a fair rating, to be honest. Well, I don't think he was anything less. His work rate was good. He was tracking back.
I was going to say, you can see that thing. That is one thing that Moyes has brought into his game. It's taken a year or so to do it. But the same as for now, you'd always get the work rate from him now. He does track back, puts the effort in.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Well, let's go jump into the chat, see what everyone's saying. Alan Tuckington, Benny 7 tried hard to unlock their defence. He scared them, needs a goal. Pete Chapman, Ben gets a 7. Hammerhead, Ben Rama, same as Fornals. Decision making all wrong. He went missing at times. 7. Gaza gives him a 6. Peter Jones gives him a 7. Neil T says 6. I thought he was poor today. Troz 6, needs crossing practice. Vinay 7. He did okay like most of the attackers. James Bong 7.5. The ref was dodgy, Freshy. He was, mate. Benny 7, a bit off it in the first half, better decision making in the second half. Kimball gives him a 7, quiet game today, just not his day. WHU 58, 7.3, liked his attempts to link with Antonio today. Crazy Call said, was he playing? Benny quiet 6. Neil from Down Under gives him a 6. Keith Stewart says he needs shooting practice. David Anderson says 6 for Benny. Thought he gave the ball away a lot. Wrong decisions in the final third, not good today. Crosshammer gives him a 6 for Benny, one of his bad days. Paul Evans 6, not a good game today. Liam DA, Benny had a better game with Bowen in my opinion. I don't agree with that, Liam, if I'm being honest with you, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Everton fan here, you deserve the win today. Thank you very much, Paul. You were a good laugh in the chat. So please, hope you have subscribed to the channel as well. Russ is in the house. Russie B, it's a place to be, doing his weekly, daily shows. I don't even know. Shut up, Anton. Benny 7, a couple of nice moments, but needs to hit the net. So there you go. 48% of people agree with your marking on 7 for Benny. 30% of people gave him a 6. 18% of people gave him an 8. So it's time to move on to, what's the song? How does the song go? Jared Bowen.
Where is it? It was up in the thing somewhere, wasn't it?
Someone put the song in the chat again. Time to rate Jared Bowen.
So, just to complete the hat trick of players behind Antonio, I give him a 7.
I know this is your ratings, but I don't agree with that. But anyway, I'll tell you why in a minute.
I would say, and as well, I would say for all 3 of them, you will always get the work ethic. Like, they always do outstanding work. Bowen linked up well with Johnson. He was unlucky a couple of times with like the final ball or like a shot.
Yeah.
I think it might have been his shot that Souček ended up turning in for the offside goal. But the thing is, I think if you notice from the ratings I've given, that we were defensively very solid, and that gave us the basis for the game for the win. But I said, I don't think any one particular player could be picked on for it. There was just something missing in the attacking play today. Like that final, there was lots of attacking, stylish, nice looking play, and it just got down to that final thing, and there was just something.
It
missing.
did, but however, the one that I felt like always slipped out of fourth gear and maybe sometimes pushed it into fifth gear was Jared Bowen, because I feel like when he was trying, he was actually getting further forward. But what I did notice was that Everton were bunching up men all over him today. There was one point, I think we were talking about it, there was like 3 or 4 men on him on the wing when he was out there far up in Everton's half, and he managed to nearly get the ball out, and he kept trying things. He kept going forward. He had that attempt at goal that was saved from Pickford near the end of the game as well. But I do feel like he's a danger man every time he gets a hold of that ball when his body is facing goal. And that's why I personally would have given him an 8. But because I think he was on the higher side of the 7. Moving into an 8, but again, it's only a point difference really in it. So, I mean, I'm turning into I'm reviewing your review.
You're reviewing me now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm becoming arse on you, but yeah, get your comments in. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Alan Tuckerton, Bowen 8, worked his socks off, got the assist, never gave up. Yeah, he did get the assist actually as well.
Oh yeah, he did. So mate,
I
always rated it, and like, you know what, I did forget that he got the assist.
Right, come on.
You know what? You probably have to be fair because, like in a normal rating, we get like half a rating for that, and I was sitting there halfway between a 7 and an 8. So
right,
yeah,
sweet.
Maybe he'll finally have Creswell off
there you
crosses.
Go.
You know,
there you go.
Maybe Creswell will finally be off corners and Bowen can keep at him.
I was going to say I convinced you, but it wasn't. It was Alan Turkington that did so well.
Yeah, I actually forgot that he got the assist. So yeah, fair play.
I'm ahead. I'm sorry, but Bowen was not at it today. He did sweet F8. I don't agree with you, mate. Distracted if you ask me, and still poor decision making. So he gets a 6.5. Bowen. This is the difference in the fan base. It's just all over the shop in terms of predictions. Bowen gets a 7.5. From James Bong, Liam Da. Bowen is on fire, and he's
there you go.
Harry Wilkins, Bowen was solid. Yeah, plenty of people can say that as well. Like Benrahma needs more cutting edge. Bowen's on fire. Gaza, Bowen 8 just for his work rate. First fielder, Bowen 7, always an option, but he was well handled by Lucas, not Mike Digne. Pickford made a meal of the save. Troj gives him a 7. Neil T gives him an 8. He worked hard. Vinay gives him an 8. Looked dangerous. He tested the keeper. 3 at shoe 58, 7.5. Crosshammer 8. Bowen was sharp. Neil from Down Under, Bowen 7. Les McDonald gives him a 7. Worked well. Johnson may have pulled away from his offensive game. Keith Stewart 7, just doesn't seem to go his way. Kimball, Bowen 7 for me. Trying very hard, but didn't work today. Stelchenko, Bowen's 8. Dangerous will improve this season. Watch the space. Clive, good to see you, mate. Even everyone's sorry I'm late. Hit the like button, people. Thank you very much. Hope you're well. Peter Jones gets a 7. Bobo gets a 7.5 from Crazy Call. Clive gives Bowen a 7, just below par today. So many comments. It's going to get to the point where we might not be able to comment with everyone's comments. Bowen didn't do enough, but he'll come good. Neil from Down Under, if Antonio had passed the Bowen instead of kicking the ball into row Z, Bowen probably would have scored. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
That counter-attack in the first half, yeah.
Dave Luxton, who looked more dangerous, Bowen or Townsend? To be honest, I think they both looked equally as dangerous, if I'm being honest.
I think Bowen looked more of a threat into the box, whereas Townsend had the deliveries on point, to be honest. Like, I don't think Townsend wasted a cross.
Yeah. In
the sense that everyone was like either in and around the penalty spot or in and around the 6-yard box. Like everything, we had to deal with these crosses. There was no like overhit out the other side.
Bowen looked more dangerous than Townsend. Gaza was what Danny Dyer's thinking about that song. So there you go. Let's see what the chat is saying. 44% have given him an 8. So they agree with you. 44% have given him an 8. 38% have given him a 7. 12% given him a 6.
It's basically somewhere between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Which is what I was sitting on as well. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, time to rate the man who led the line today, Mikel Antonio.
Well, you know what? You can sit here and try and sway me on this because I am really sitting on the fence right now. It's somewhere between a 7 and an 8. I thought he looked more lively. He looked like the rest had done him good. He didn't look gassed until like the 92nd minute or something. He was trying. He ran his socks off. Like, you know, we were in the stitches, weren't we? There was that run near the end of the game when he just chased that long ball, kept it on the pitch, fell over like the frigging AstroTurf or something, got up and kept it, then took someone else on and bundled through. And there was a couple of times he had them sort of runs where he just bounced off and sort of bambied his way through a few players. Lacked composure in his shooting, I thought. You know, summed up by that chance we were talking about where he probably should have passed it to Bowen on the counter in the first half. And he, as always, shot from 25 yards and straight away was apologising because it's almost like he knew Like, he knew when he was shooting that wasn't going in. Like, he knew himself. He's just like, sorry, yeah, it's in the crowd again. But yeah, I'm not sure. Somewhere, maybe 7. Lots of effort, lots of trying, no real end product. He was trying to convince me to an 8. Like, I'm sitting on the fence between the two of them, and I can't even decide myself. But I don't like giving out halves, so I don't do halves. Yeah.
I think come the end of the game, he was puffing at his arse, but that was because he'd done so much running today. Like again, he is doing he's doing so much work for this team. It's phenomenal, and he is causing problems. If you think about some of the balls that were kicked out from Fabianski today, because I've seen more distribution balls from Fabianski today that I have seen over the past few weeks. Some of them were landing on Antonio, and he was chesting them down and controlling them perfectly, or controlling them with his foot. He was doing absolutely everything you would want from your forward number 9. He'd done everything, not assisted, never had a couple of great attempts at goal. To be fair to him, he did have a few chances, and they were blocked from the Everton defence. I never actually had a chance to look at those stats. I should have had a look at those stats, actually. So, I mean, I think he deserves an 8 today, to be honest. I think he led the line. I think he led the line well. It wasn't anything fancy, no goals, no assists. But at the end of the day, he does what he does up there, and he
I suppose well, you can argue that he's done the job that Moyes puts him in there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's jump into the chat and see what everyone says about Mikel Antonio. Where are we? My God, so many comments. It's tough. Alan Turkington says Antonio 7 worked really hard, tried to influence the game, but had only one shot Johnny Wilkinson would have been proud of. Absolutely. Gaza says gets a 7. Troz gives him an 8. Great defensively, held up the ball like a beast. Crosshammer 8 for the power horse. Peach is saying an 8. Vinay saying Antonio 7. He worked hard but restarted his grudge against Rosette. Neil T saying Antonio 7.5. Harry Wilkins. Antonio 7 had some great moments with hold up play, running at defence, but decision making could be better again. WHU 58. Antonio 8-man mountain, holding up the ball and closing down. Crive Trevelling. Antonio 8, always solid and reliable on the pitch. Hammerhead. He'll score a hat trick in Europa, but today he was poor sometimes. When you're doing bad, trying harder makes it worse. What happened today wasn't his day. But bring on Genk. Antonio 7. Mickey gives everything as always 7.5. Stelchenko. Antonio was effective another day, but could have scored 2 or 2 assists. Keith 7 looked lethargic. Sorry, I don't agree. I don't think he did. I think at the end of the game, maybe.
I said he looked like he was gassing, but he was gassing in like the 92nd minute. Yeah, which is fine because he's running socks off. It's not like before the international break when he looked knackered after like 60 minutes. You're like,
yeah. Absolutely. Freshfielder Antonio 7 should definitely have laid off to Bowen. Loved a bit where he went out for a sandwich and he came back for the ball. Neil from Down Under. Antonio 7, he tried hard but made bad decision, making held him back today. Antelope, a little average 7. Stelchenko 7. Dave Luxton 8. Held it up well, led the midfield to join in, just missing a goal on his shift. Yeah, absolutely. Troj had Antonio instead of Rondon. We don't take 3 points. Yeah, good point. Come on, you Irons. Antonio did the challenge that led to the corner and a goal. It's true. Had every right to go for the ball. Benitez said it should have been a foul on the keeper. Rubbish.
I've seen the quote on that. Do not get me started.
No, I won't.
The quote on that is.
I'm not going to get you started.
Have you actually seen the quote on it?
No, but I'm not going to get you started on it.
Oh, mate, it is. Like if you do get a chance, go look it up. Like there's no rule that says that you're not allowed to go for a ball in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Apparently, he thinks the rule is that if the ball's in the 6-yard box, if you go near the keeper, it's automatically a foul, and that's what the 6-yard box is for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kimbo is saying Anton and Matt, great shows always. When does your dad come back? My dad or Matt's dad?
Your dad, I'm guessing. When's
coming on the show?
Yeah.
I never watched the game with him today. Actually, he never came around.
Where's Jim's marmalade?
Yeah. Les McDonald, Antonio 8. David Anderson gave him a 7. Hold up play was excellent, but did not look like scoring a goal. Trini is saying Antonio had a rein in his terrorising because he was early yellow. Valid point, Trini. He did have that as well. Sam's saying that was a very tricky match today. West Ham should have scored more. And yeah, there you go. So Antonio gets an 8. Let's have a look and see what the chat has said on Antonio. Oh, it's close, mate. It's close. 45% of people gave him a 7. 43% of people gave him an 8. So there you go. Very, very tight. Very tight back there. Right. It's time to move on to the substitutions. So we'll just do them all in a oneer. 3 substitutions today. Dawson came on for Souček. Lanzini came on for Ben Rama. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Yarmolenko came on from Bowen. Yeah, that is
Yes.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
So how do you rate the subs?
Dawson can have a 7.
Right.
I thought he was actually pretty decent. He actually made some good clearances when he come on. And I did sit there and question myself. I did say it a couple of times that I thought maybe he brought him on too soon.
Yeah.
I thought, because there was about, 15 minutes left?
Yeah.
About that when Souček went off. And he just went, we'll go back to 5 at the back now. But he slotted in alongside Zuma. He sort of slotted in on the right-hand side. Zuma in the middle. They look solid. Couple of good cutouts, couple of good headers. He did well when he come on. He helped sort out the clean sheet. Lanzini.
Just quickly, fresh fielder. I think that's to do with Genk, if I'm being honest. I think it must be.
Well, I think it'll be the 2 of them anyway. But I think if you notice, and I think, was it Russ or yourself that pointed out in the watch along, that as soon as Souček went down,
Dawson was out of the
Dawson
bench.
just got up and went sprinting up for a warm up, and Diop didn't. Now, whether they just said go warm up, maybe Moyes had the plan. Maybe Moyes was thinking about the sub earlier, or maybe just because Dawson was the one that went and warmed up and Diop didn't. They were like, "Oh, well, Dawson, you're going on."
Clive is saying Dawson gets a 7, Lanzini gets a 7, Yarmo 6, and the ref a 4. We'll come on to the ref in a minute. But what do you think? Lanzini 6.
Yeah, he didn't have much time to impact it, but he done all right when he came on. Got out muscled once, really late on by was it Allen when we really should have countered or held on to the ball. Yarmolenko, I'm going to give him a rating, just an NA because technically I'd give him like a -1. He come on, had one thing to do, which was control the ball when he had like under no pressure and he gave it away. But I'll just give him an NA because he come on in like the 93rd minute.
Yeah.
Cool. To go 7-6, not applicable.
There you go, mate. There you go. No, we'll do that. We'll take that. Let's go on to the manager, David Moyes. Go on in.
Moyes, I'll say it again. I've been saying it. You know what? I haven't have to start giving him proper ratings soon. I'll sit there again and say that I'll give him a 10.
I think David Moyes deserves a 10 today.
And I've said it a few times this season, and it's like I feel like, you know what? And it's a West Ham thing because it's been a while since we've just had a consistently good manager, and I have rightly not given Moyes 8, like 10 sometimes, but you can argue he made the subs at the right times. He got the tactics right. He got the personnel right. Showed us what we know because he stuck with the players he wanted. They got the job done. Kept a clean sheet. Went back to Everton. He's won back-to-back games away at Everton now. And I don't think he ever won there as Man United manager. Say he picked the right team, right formation, right tactics, adapted when we needed to. Souček went down. I'll go 5 at the back, drop 4 hours in the middle. All right, now bring Lanzini on, switch him round. Even the Yarmolenko sub, that's just literally run the clock down at the end. And he made a sub. I mean, I sit there and said about, he shouldn't have brought, maybe he should have brought Dawson on that early. But I do remember sitting there thinking to myself on the Brentford game that it was the last kick of the game. He should have chucked a defender on to try and defend the set piece because, we had the point, we should have defended it. This time, 15 minutes to go, there was no holding midfield without Noble or Crowd, no holding midfielder. Chucked Dawson on, changed it to a 5 at the back, went for a flat 5-4-1 and just went back to the low block and got the 3 points. Yeah. And again, has it 15 games unbeaten away from home now? Like something in the league, something like that. Best away record in the league. There's nothing you can really. I was trying to think of something really to. I could sit there and nitpick because he didn't pick the players I wanted him to play, but the players he picked got the job done.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let me just see what everyone in the chat said about David Moyes. Moyes gets an 8 from Alan Tuckington. Went to his old club, got 3 points. Still questions over substitutions. We won. He gets a 10. Moyes gets a 7.5. Moisea gets an 8. And Moisea gets a 10 from James Bong. WHU 58. Moyes gets a 7.5. Keith Stewart 10. Top man needs respect. Harry Wilkins, Moyes 8, nullified Everton like we did last year as well. Moyes, where is he? Where's that comment gone? Where's that comment? I just had it. Last time we lost an away game was 6 months away. Just shows the impact of Moyes' coaching. Crazy call Moyes our emperor. 10 points out of 12 away games. 10. Come on to that in a minute. Yeah, I think for me personally, he absolutely deserves a 10. No ifs or buts about it. Right, it's time to jump on to the world famous West Ham fans, mate. Unbelievable today, again.
I mean, I'd give our fans a 10. We always travel well, always sing hearts out, but I've got to be...
The home fans were ridiculous.
This is what I was about to get on, right? I'm not an Everton fan. We're not Everton fans. So we don't know what's going on. I know Rafa was the Liverpool manager. I know you've gone from like Ancelotti to Rafa. I don't think Rafa's that low down. I just don't think it's like you've gone from the attacking style to counter-attacking style. I don't know if maybe there's unrest. They didn't want him. They don't like what they're seeing. They were missing their two best players today. Let's not. I know some of their fans aren't keen on Rondon, but he was brought in as basically a rotation option for Calvert-Lewin. But with Calvert-Lewin and they have their best two players missing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to remember. Obviously, COVID aside, the last time that we went to there and it was that quiet. I always remember Goodison as like an old school, on top of the players, raucous, or at you for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember, was it Mike last night that said about, you won their away last year, but this year we got the Goodison Park faithful with us. And
didn't have that today, yeah.
No.
It's really surprising. Yeah, really, really, really
I
surprising.
give our fans a 10. I give their fans 6.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Fans absolutely were fantastic today. I was gutted I couldn't be there. It's one of the away games.
I should have gone, mate.
Everton, Liverpool. I can't run the rest.
I'm telling you.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Last but not least, let's jump on to the referee. Stuart Atwell. I'll let
How long
you
we
do your
got?
piece. No, don't, just keep it short, mate. Keep it short. Go short and straight to the point.
For the most part, he was all right. And there was a couple of points that have I've given him a 5. Right?
Fuck off! What are you talking about, Matt? No, do you know what? I'm going to interrupt you with this. I'll tell you why.
Now, let me get my thing out, and you can go on your big rant. Right?
All right, go on then.
For the most part, he refereed it quite well. However, and that would normally get him like a 7 or an 8, because for the most part, I didn't notice him. But then he booked Antonio for diving when Antonio literally just hurdled the guy that was going to take him out, which they tell modern players to do so they don't get injured. Godfrey then dived to try and get Antonio booked again. And the referee knew it was a dive because he awarded the corner, didn't book him. And then you had the situation with Souček. Now, I've seen replays, but I'm still sitting on the fence. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, but I don't care if it's intentional or not.
But, so it's not a foul, and I agree with that. But the amount of
head injury.
You play a big team, or you play one of the, should we say, the savvy teams, like maybe a Burnley or something, and a player will go down and he'll hold his head, and he's not even touched the head, and the referee will straight away stop the play head injury. Souček was on the floor for about a minute.
Yeah.
And then they went and got a corner. They could have scored from that. And then you get up and you see a massive gash down his face. You see it after the game, and you're like, he's got a gash out. He had to have staples or something in his lip as well because that got all torn apart.
Ridiculous, man.
But he didn't stop the game.
Yeah. But even that's ridiculous. So the fact that he didn't stop the game for the head injury. I mean, add into what you've said, and then at the end of the game, he played an extra minute, and there was like several opportunities.
There wasn't really a minute's worth. Time.
Nah.
Yeah, there wasn't a minute's worth of add-ons.
And it was
within
fucking
the 4 minutes.
Ridiculous. He let Everton attack, put the pressure on. They went up and did not win a corner. And with 45 seconds
we
gone
were
past
attacking.
the time.
We were
Ridiculous.
attacking, with Antonio.
We were attacking.
In the 90, it was 93 and 55 seconds.
Yeah.
And he sort of dribbled through. I don't know if it went out for a goal kick or he just dribbled it into Pickford. And I'm like, all right, that's 4 minutes, that's up. Pickford plays it long. Then they keep going. Then they switch it. Then they get the corner. And I'm sitting there thinking...
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Anyway,
he doesn't do that. That's the fourth official.
No.
So I've said a 5.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, he refereed quite well. But those 3 incidents, I'm like, no.
I'm sorry, I can't say he refereed well at all. I think 51% of people have given him a 3 and under. And that's it. I mean, he's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't want to sit here and talk about him, but I could get quite pissed off about him, to be honest. That brings an end to our player ratings, our match day player ratings. Everton 0, West Ham 1. Matt, a great day at the office again.
Oh,
Great
sorry,
day at the
just
office.
quickly, right? Because you said about Outwell. He didn't give the foul, which everyone was calling for on Pickford for the goal, Yeah. And so he gets a point plus for that because he actually got that call right.
Well, that's very, very generous of you, mate. Very generous of you. If you are watching and you're new around here, please do me a favor, go and click that subscribe button. It really does help our channel out. There's a button somewhere over where Matt is or below where I am. Just hit that subscribe button. There's a little bell notification as well. If you click that bell notification, as you can see there, that will then notify you when we will go live about half an hour before each of the things. The key to this is you need to click the notify button. If you're not logged into a Google account or a YouTube account, then you won't be able to subscribe to the channel. So hit that subscriber button. That is really key. On top of that, please hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the show. It really does help us out as well. Hitting the thumbs up pushes our channel into the algorithm. New people get to see it. And if you want to become a channel member, go and look at our tiers. I think on the homepage there's an option that says join. Go and click that, and you don't have to join immediately. It'll let you know what all the tiers are about. And go and check out our channel sponsors, who are of course Football Prizes. Thank you to them for
which their prize is running out tomorrow. Afternoon.
Yeah, 2 hospitality tickets for.
I don't know how many. If there's any tickets left, I don't know how many have sold.
Yep.
Was it a tenner a ticket? I think
$9.95 a ticket. Yeah.
24 tickets available. 2 hospitality games to the game on Thursday.
Yep, absolutely. Good prize to win as well. Go and check out Manscaped, of course. There is a code that you can get. You get 20% off free shipping with promo code West Ham Network at manscaped.com. So go and check them out as well. And that really brings an end to our match day show. Match day player ratings. Does anyone have more holidays than Stell? Well, listen, I don't actually know when Stell's back. I don't think he's back for the game tomorrow, for the West Ham Weekly tomorrow. So it will be
weekly.
I mean, it's going to be a busy week anyway. We've got Genk on Thursday, so we'll have the preview Wednesday night. We've got the Genk game on Thursday. We've got the press conference on Friday. We've got lunchtime lives with Russ. We've got ex-player interviews with Russ. And then we've got the
preview Saturday, game Sunday.
Saturday, game Sunday, and then back into it again. So anyway, thank you for joining us. He's been Matt. I've been Anton. This is the West Ham Network. Subscribe, like, and comment. Come on, you Irons. 3 points today. Yes, love it.